Today is International Day for Biological Diversity, or popularly named as World Biodiversity Day, विश्व जैव विविधता दिवस, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जैव विविधता दिवस, और डोगरी में कहेंगे संसारी जैव जून त्याड़ा। Biodiversity is the assemblage of different kind of organisms, plants, microbes, fungi, trees, shrubs, bushes, mosses, liverworts, ferns, algae, archaebacteria, bacteria, protozoans, protista, monera, unicellular organisms, eukaryotic, prokaryotic, porifera, pore-bearing, sponges, coelentrates, cnidarian, as we have Manseriata lacustris in Mansar Jheel, reported way back in 1976. Annelids, as we have earthworm. Platyhelminths, as we find liver fluke, kind of parasite of sheep. Then we have Taenia solium or Taenia saginatum. These are helminths which infest human beings and cause diseases. We have arthropods. Maximum diversity among animals is of arthropods, especially the insects. And among insects, the beetles have the maximum diversity, estimated about 4 lakh species. Then we have echinoderms, sea stars, then sea cucumbers, like that, which have very typical ambulacral locomotory system. Then we have the protochordates. We have very unique phylum of mollusca, seashells, where we have cowries and shank and moti, pearls. In fact, Kalira always uses the cowries, seashells, because it was used once as a currency. And shank, we have different species, and they are used as to produce auspicious sound, healthy sound in the temples. We have many species of molluscan creatures. Mostly they are marine, and there is an octopus, there is sepia. All these belong to mollusca, cephalochordates, cephalopods, not cephalochordates. And then in vertebrates, all those backbone animals, we have fishes, and even our forefathers had the Matsya Puran and the Matsya avatar of Vishnu. Then we have the amphibians who pass half-life in water and also can live on land. Amphi means both kind of life, in water as well as land. They were the first creatures to come out of sea, marine environment, and invade the land. So they are called amphibians. For example, frog. And in Lakshmi Kheri district of Uttar Pradesh, we have the ancient Shiva temple seated on the back of frog. Manduk Mandir. Manduk is the Sanskrit name of frog. And we have so many frogs, and it was way back in 2003, Satyabhama Das Viju discovered a totally new species, which is referred as living frog, living fossil frog, Nasica batrachus sahidarensis, pig-nosed frog, popularly named as, or purple frog, because it is purple in color. It has a very small eyes, but it has a very huge body and small. So a kind of Mahabali frog, we can say. It was reported from Kerala by a renowned frogman of India, Satyabhama Das Viju, who is basically a botanist, but now contributing a lot in amphibian taxonomy. Then we have reptiles, and among reptiles, the turtles. Even in Mansar and Suroinsar wetlands, we encounter these kachuas or patring, Lysimais punctata, and Kachuga tectum, and so many other species. And we also have mention in our scriptures about the Kurma avatar of Vishnu. Then we come to flying birds, the so huge diversity, and the birdman of India. Dr. Salim Ali has really contributed a lot in ornithology, but father of Indian ornithology is Alan Octavio Hume, who was a civil servant serving in Ottawa in Uttar Pradesh, and he was instrumental in collecting huge collection he kept in Shimla house, but unfortunately that was destroyed. Then he left. Then other ornithologists who have contributed, there are we have some birds also named after ornithologists. For example, Hume's warbler. Likewise, Whistler. He was a hook whistler. He also contributed. And then we come to the mammals, to which the Homo sapiens, humans belong. And we have so many different kinds of creatures. Here we have the pangolin, which is threatened and it is found in Jammu. We have a diversity of bats, the fruit bats, and then horseshoe-shaped bats, and Pteropus gigantea, Pteropus, that is a flying fox, or locally we called as khadak in Dogri language. In mammals we have porcupine, say we are familiar with, and many other rodents, especially we have the pikas in the alpine mountains, and also the marmots. Marmots are unique to Ladakh and Sonamarg mountains. So just commemorating the International Day of Biological Diversity brings us back to 1992, when the famous Earth Summit, Rio Summit, was organized at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and 3 conventions were signed. And one convention was focusing only on biodiversity. Second convention was on climate change. And third convention or agreement was signed pertaining to the desertification, to combat desertification. In the CBD, that is Convention on Biological Diversity, the draft was adopted on this day, 22nd May 1992. And CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, जो जैव विविधता संधि, that came into force with effect from 29th December 1993, because it was open for signatures, and that took about 1 year. So previously the 29th December was declared as the International Day of Biological Diversity. But since that is the winter time and Christmas time, and there are mostly holidays in education institutions, so United Nations took a decision in 2000 to celebrate the International Day of Biological Diversity not on 29th December, but on 22nd May. Because this is the time when education institutions are also working, and we can organize events throughout the world to focus what is called biodiversity, how to conserve each and every kind of organism. And for this, if we want to conserve the biodiversity, we need to conserve the habitats. And without habitats, we can't think of the biodiversity. So we have different kinds of habitats and different kinds of ecosystems. For example, we have the alpine mountain system, we have the coniferous forest ecosystem, then we have forest wetlands, then other wetlands which are valley wetlands, in the plains also, and many of them stands declared as the Ramsar site. For example, Somoriri in Ladakh, Mansar Suroinsar in Jammu, Hokersar and Wular in Kashmir, and then more were added, Shalbug, Haigam, and Mirgund. So we find some creatures restricted to the wet lands and the aquatic ecosystem, maybe rivers, maybe ponds. In Jammu, Kandi belt, there was a network of ponds, but with the urbanization and land use changes and deforestation, we have lost many ponds which need a revival if we are really concerned about biodiversity. There was a Kunjavani pond which was having the sponges. For example, Spongilla lacustris, Euphydacea menai, Ducilia plumosa. But we lost the Kunjavani pond, and with that we lost the freshwater sponges, which have the very unique sedentary habit. And the body has so many pores. So in Dogri, I coined the word for porifera as prone sarira. It is also used in the bathrooms and kitchens for cleaning purposes. So, Coelenterata, which is called Gohika Jantu in Hindi, that only representative which we find of freshwater cnidarian creature is Mansriella lacustris. We have very unique leafhoppers and tree hoppers reported from Jammu. Professor Baldev Sharma has discovered many species which have been named about after Jammu personality. For example, we have Farinella malhotri, named after Y.R. Malhotra, who was our former Vice Chancellor, Jammu University. Then we have Ujlana thalodiensis. Thalodi is a village near Birpur, Kunjavani. Likewise, we have many other unique species of insects. And we have dragonflies and we have the butterflies. In butterflies, we have so huge diversity. Just near to Jammu, we have the Raika Environment Park, and there are more than 70 butterfly species, including the blue oak butterfly, which is a dead leaf butterfly. And incidentally, the orange oak blue butterfly, a dead leaf butterfly, Calima innaca, stands declared as the national butterfly of India recently. Last year it was declared. And we also have the national reptile, and that is the Ophiophagus hana, the king cobra. We have the national aquatic animal, that is Platanista gangetica, that is a dolphin, which is, we find in river Ganges. And we have the former Vice Chancellor of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University, Ravindra Kumar Sinha, who is also popularly named as Dolphin Man of India, a Padma Shri personality, because he worked on dolphins. Then we have unique molluscas also. Mostly molluscan species, they are having the shells. But in sepia and octopus, we don't find those shells. And even in our water bodies, we find some kind of Indoplanarbis or Bullinus. Or locally, we are familiar with fill or feel. That is also a kind of slug and kept in mollusca. Then we have ladin or chakki, a kind of a snail with a spiral-shaped shell on its back. So all these are examples of the soft shelled creatures, popularly in science named as mollusca. Then we have the no freshwater example of echinoderms, but among fishes we have local diversity. For example, malli, groj. Then we have kisar, channa. And we have very typical Dogri names: Nuri, Lalai, Heteropneustis fossilis, Kangi, Trichogaster fasciatus, Botia birdi, and so many other freshwater species. In marine, we have stingray, guitar ray, sawfish, and pomfret, so many. And there is a lot of overexploitation of fish resources. That is we need to have some kind of sustainable kind of harvesting if we are really concerned about conservation of biodiversity. So we have the mammals in Jammu and Kashmir. We have many mammals which are in the threatened category. For example, we have the brown bear, Ursus arctos. Then we have markhor, Capra falconeri, which is found in Tatakuti, Hirpura, Shopaiya, and then Kajinag National Park, Limber Lachipura Wildlife Sanctuaries. This is a kind of wild relative of goat. Then we have Karath, which is seen in the Padar region and also in the Bani area, that is Hemitragus jamlaicus. Only other, you can say this as a near relative is Nilgiri tahar. We have Himalayan tahar in Jammu and Kashmir, but Nilgiri tahar, Nilgiri tragus, Hylocrius, that is also the state animal of Tamil Nadu, that is found in Nilgiri hills. And only third tahar, that is Saudi Arabia, it is found, and that is another one. Only three tahars show disjunct distribution. And we have many wild relatives of sheep and goat. For example, we have Kale Bakri, Capra ibex. It is also distantly related to our domestic goat. Then we have some relatives of even Sirao. Sirao is a kind of cow. Then we have the Nilgai in Jammu region. Bos IFS, Traglocamelus, locally called as Gund. Then we have musk deer, which is Mascus cupreus, or other species, Mascus, I think Leucogaster. And these musk deers are also under threat these days because of poaching, habitat fragmentation, loss of habitat, and many other factors. Snow leopard is another magnificent leopard of Jammu and Kashmir and the Himalayas. And most of recently we had the sighting of snow leopard in Kishtwar High Altitude National Park in Jammu region. Otherwise, this snow leopard is found in Ladakh mountains. Coming to the biodiversity which I have just exhibited for you. So these are the garden ornamentals. For example, this is called as the Gandharaj, as it has a very fine fragrance. Flowers are fragrant, and king of fragrances, we can translate the plant. And this is from Rubiaceae family, Gardenia jasminitis, sometimes also named as Cape jasmine. So this is used as garden ornamental in our gardens. This particular rhizome is from Acorus calamus, locally called Baryan or Naglach in Bhadravai, and Vaigandar in Kashmir. And this is a very reputed medicinal plant, aromatic marsh herb, and also used as auspicious in the Thali Varun ritual by the Kashmiri Pandits on the occasion of Navare. And this is the incense root, popularly called as the dhoop or dhupa, Jurenia macrocephala, Jurenia dolomia. And this is Ativisha. Ativisha means, locally we are familiar with the name as Patis or Patris, Aconitum heterophyllum. They have peared roots, and it is sold in the market for Ayurveda and Unani formulations, drug formulations. This is rosemary. Rosemary, Rosmarinus officinalis, or now it has been clubbed under salvia as Salvia rosmarinus. This is also used as tea. So this is the innovation from the squashed Kashmir, rosemary tea. It is also used in perfumery, and it's also medicinal. Another plant which I am referring here, we have the wild relative of falsa. This is basically the fruits of tamman, and since they are mostly in 4 lobes, so it is also named as crossberry tree. So this is a source of fiber, fodder for the farmers, and this is considered as very important agroforestry tree, Grevia optiva. Here we have the chia seed, which is marketed, but this identity is the Salvia hispanica. So its seeds are medicinal and digestive. Here I have put a very unique herb. This is a root basically. It is called a bhoot kesi. Because of kesi means the hairs, if we can put it like this. So this is a hairy root basically. Salinum vaginatum with white flowers, and it grows up to 1 meter tall. This we find in Syojdhar and Dudu Basantgarh area, Bhoot Kesi or Bhoot Kensi, sometimes it is also referred as. And this another one is the Mushkbala. If we smell, take a fragrance, the roots are highly fragrant. They are very useful nervine tonic and useful for hair growth, and they are also traded, and it is reputed medicinal plant, the part of the biodiversity. And here we have very unique fruits. They are called Myrica esculenta, or bayberry, or boxberry, or box myrtle, locally known as kuffel and kaffel, in Sangad area of Riasi, then in Bani area near Kardonala, and Chodmotu Panjia in Ramkot forest range of Bilawar forest division. So this is very delicious, edible, people consume even and this has been declared as the state fruit of Uttarakhand. And another spice which is unique to the Kashmir is Crocus sativus, saffron, medicinal and used as tea, and this is grown in Pampura wetlands in Karevas. Here we have the unique gucci, which is the most expensive morel. It is not mushroom. Mostly we refer it as mushroom. Mushrooms basically are fruiting bodies of Basidiomycotina, Basidiomyces. It is not from that class. It is basically a ascomycete kind of fungus. So this is better to label it as a morel, not mushroom. Gucci, tuntu, chundu. There are so many local names. This is found in the temperate region, in the coniferous forest, the oak forest, cheat pine forest, and kyle forest, and deodar forest in the whole Chenab Valley, Bhadarwa, Dodu Basantgarh, Kopawara, Pahalgam. This is the cultivated curcuma, but curcuma longa, and we have many other species of curcuma, and one curcuma aromatica grows in the wild, and this is very useful medicinally and used as turmeric in the kitchen as spice and condiment and as a coloring agent, and also used in the marriage rituals. Here we have the wild nut, hazelnut, locally named as Thongi in Chenab Valley, but this is also known as Urmuni in Ramban Hills, and called as Virin in Kashmiri and Shathor in Shina language. So this is a forest tree, and its nut, they need to be broke open to have the inside kernel, which is edible and sold in the market, and it can be used in bakery and even beverages. So this is capsicum, no doubt, but Shimla Mirch. But we have the wild diversity of capsicum. For example, capsicum Solanum pseudocapsicum. So this is under genus Solanum. So many Solanum species are already under cultivation. For example, Solanum tuberosum alu or Solanum melangina bangan. And we have the wild relatives of bangan also. For example, Solanum erianthum, which is called locally as Jat or Axum, which is found even in Raika National Park. And Solanum pseudocapsicum is Juthi Marach. And here I have put the garlic, white one, and the pink one is the onion. But in Jammu and Kashmir, we have about 22 species of iliums or wild iliums. And one of the most important, which is found in Bhadarwa, is called kheer, which is used in the kitchen as condiment, flavoring spice. And that is basically Ilium strachyi. But we also have Ilium victorialis in Madhwa Valley and in Kashmir, especially in Gurez, which is a broad-leaved onion, also popularly named as victory onion. Ilium victorialis. If we visit Sedada area or Sundarbani, then we have another Ilium rubellum, which is also edible. And in Bani area also, we have Ilium wallachii, Ilium railii, and in Ladakh also we have many Ilium carolinianum, Ilium thomsonianum, so many species. About one species in the memory of Professor P. Kachuru was named as Ilium kacharui. That is also reported from the Manaswal area. And here is the medicine product obtained from Barbaris lycium, locally called as Rasaunth. Rasaunth is finds the Ayurvedic use against skin infections, is very useful for liver, against blood diseases, and this commodity is prohibited, and only with the permission of the forest department one can exploit this shrub, Barbaris lycium, but its fruits are also edible, locally called as Kambulu, Kimbulu, Simbulu. In Kashmir, the plant is named as cow dutch. So we have another spice from kitchen, that is Syzygium aromaticum or Longu guaiaitara. But we in Jammu have another Syzygium species, Syzygium cumini, which is jamun or talle or talan, and fruit is anti-diabetic. That is growing plenty in the forests of Jammu. shibboleths. So we can say the Syzygium cumini is the wild correlative of this commercially important Syzygium aromaticum, popularly called as clove or long. This is very important, highly aromatic. These are basically flower buds which are collected, harvested and dried and then sold. We also have another plant which is locally told me as shalgude, but this is Anthopogon. Rhododendron Anthopogon. It is a aromatic shrublet, and local Gujjar Bakarwas, they go to their dohks during summertime and then they collect it. This is also very, you can say, used as incense. This is burnt and this has lot of health benefits. So we can say on the occasion of International Day for Biological Diversity, let us know our biodiversity, plants and animals and mushrooms, and also try to understand their habitat problems, ecosystem degradation problems, and how we can contribute for the restoration of those ecosystems. And once we restore the ecosystem, only then we can conserve the biodiversity. And this year's theme of International Day of Biological Diversity is from agreement to action, build back biodiversity. This is the outcome of Kunming Montreal biodiversity agreement, which has put some kind of responsibilities and some goals have been set which need to be fulfilled if we are really concerned about biodiversity, Jaiva Vivivita, and our forefathers had fair idea about this variability, this diversity when they called. We had 84 lakh yonis, and after 84 lakh, the humans were born. So that 84 number is yet to be achieved, although the estimate may go beyond 84 lakh, but so far all scientists have not reported or documented more than 18 lakhs. So we are stuck only at 18 lakh species, whereas the forefathers estimate goes beyond and it is 84 lakh species. So many of the habitats are yet to be explored for many organisms, especially the microbes. We are having the refined techniques, and with that we will be able to rival the mysteries of nature. But foremost important is we need to conserve our habitats, ecosystems, and we should have a landscape approach.